There, I'm Christine Dunbar from SpeechModification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent Training. In this video, we're going to look at some words having to do with the Olympics, including Olympics, Beijing, and Luge. So let's take a look at these words. These are things people are talking about because the Winter Olympics of 2022 are now going on in Beijing. And so looking at Olympics, interestingly, even though we have letter O, we don't say Olympics, we say Olympics. And we might be tempted to use a little bit of an O. I just did that as I was saying the word, thinking about the O so that you could hear how that sounded. But in fluent speech, naturally, to pronounce this word correctly, we're stressing on the lim syllable. So we actually don't say O here, we say Olympics. That's because lim is long and stressed, and then the is just a short reduced vowel that happens in the first syllable. The letter Y says the vowel I like in it, so you can practice saying things like it's the Olympics, in the Olympics. That'll help you match that vowel. And then the pix syllable is just like the word pix. It also has the I vowel, but it'll be shorter in that syllable than in the first syllable. You can start and get the rhythm and sounds correct if you start by starting on the stressed syllable. It's a good technique, trying Olympics, Olympics. That'll help you be nice and short on that first syllable. You can also match with the word winter, Winter Olympics. When you're saying Winter Olympics, you're probably going to still have your main stress on Olympics, and winter will be a little bit stressed on the win syllable. But you want to stress Olympics rather than winter, the Winter Olympics. If I say the Winter Olympics, then I'm stressing and highlighting that it's winter rather than summer. When looking at Beijing, I learned something researching this. American speakers and British speakers for a long time said rather than Beijing, they said Beijing. And in my research, it appeared that when American speakers and English speakers changed from calling Beijing, they used to call it Peking. They used to have their own label for the city, and then they adopted the actual Chinese name of the city, which is Beijing with a j sound. But the BBC made an error in transcription, and they were using the j sound like Beijing. And then that was considered to be correct. So for a long time in English, we've said Beijing, and now we're starting to try to be more correct again and say Beijing instead. If you listen to a native speaker in Beijing saying this, they'll also have a slightly different pronunciation. That's an accent from Beijing, where that's the place that they're from, so they have a slightly different pronunciation. Perhaps I'll go into more detail on that in a separate video. But for now, what you need to know as an English speaker, if you want to name the city in China Beijing, you want to be stressing on the jing syllable. Your first syllable has the a diphthong, bei, Beijing. And you use the j sound like in jump or jingle or jog. And then looking at the word luge, here we do have the zh sound that was incorrectly used in Beijing previously. Letter U says the oo sound. So it's just like the word lose, except instead of a Z sound at the end, we have what's called, I call it the voiced SH sound. It's the zh song we have in genre or measure. We usually spell it with S. In this word, we spell it with GE. And basically, you make the same mouth position you do for the SH sound. So you could try that by saying luge, and then turn your voice on. Instead of doing sh, you want to do zh, luge, luge. I did see in the dictionary that another pronunciation for luge could be luge with a j sound. I believe that's the same as words like massage or garage, where some people say garage and massage instead of garage and massage. So the j is an option. You could say luge. The way I learned it, it's the zh sound here, luge. So there is some flexibility there in the dictionary for more than one correct pronunciation for luge. Once you can say luge, Beijing, and Olympics, you may want to practice them in some short phrases. So those if those pronunciations are new for you, that they come more naturally and easily in your everyday speech. For example, you could say the Olympics are in Beijing this winter. The luge is requires cold and ice to be able to perform that sport. I like watching luge. I haven't been watching the Olympics. I've never been to Beijing. Okay, we will have more Olympics words in another class. And if you have a request you'd like to see me cover in the Word of the Day series, feel free to leave that in the comments for this video or any of my videos. This is the time that normally on Fridays we used to have our live question and answer class. That class is now moving to Saturday mornings. So I hope you'll join me for that Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Seattle time, 12 o'clock Eastern time. And leave a comment with your feedback on the times. But so far in our first Saturday class, we had a good attendance. So I hope you'll be able to make that. If you can't attend live, you can always leave questions and comments after the broadcast, and I'll give you information, links, and resources for videos I have related to your material. You can also find a lot of questions, get a lot of answers to your questions on our website, speechmodification.com, both in our free practice area and in our free and low-cost online courses. So I hope you'll check that out on speechmodification.com. I'll be back again tomorrow with another Word of the Day class, and Saturday we'll have our live question and answer class. Do consider subscribing and joining as a member as a way to support the channel and also to get some extra perks. I hope that you'll consider that. And thanks so much to those of you who have subscribed and who have joined as channel members. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, everyone. Hope to see you again soon.